What do you think some of the ethical challenges are for the future of cell culture techniques? I'll just quote a colleague of mine. She's not a scientist, she's not in food security, but she said, I always have a visceral reaction to lab-grown meat. She said, I have no necessarily a rational thought, it's just very reactionary. So what do you see as some of the biggest obstacles from an ethical standpoint in the work that you're supporting?
I see the biggest ethical obstacles in the way that we produce meat today. And these animals are not, they don't have sex, they don't see the outdoors, most of them never see a blade of grass, they don't look like any being that could actually survive in nature. Chicken, for instance, is a story of breasts, because in America we like chicken with big breasts. And so they have these enormous breasts. They look nothing like an original pigeon-like chicken of the 50s. Everything is distorted today. So the ethical questions that we may ask ourselves about cellular agriculture, which is the general field that we're discussing, is indeed the acceptability, but there's another way of, and the yuck factor, and people often say, in vitro meat, it's yucky. But do we have a yuck factor when we see people who were procreated inside a petri dish? In vitro fertilization? It's the same thing. We're producing the same meat, it's just not produced in an animal. And the other thing is that this is a very exciting dawn of bioagriculture. And the first arrival of biotechnology was when we put yeast or some kind of ferment in milk and we turned that into cheese and yogurt. We would never have imagined what cheese would be before it was created. And we can imagine that today we're a little bit at a similar dawn of the creation of an endless possibility of products, because we have eliminated the most dangerous element of it, which is the animal. Marx said, and I'm paraphrasing grossly, but he said the modes of production determine the mode of consciousness of a society. And so at the turn of the 18th to 19th or 19th to 20th centuries, it was child labor, for instance. And then we got in laws that prevented people from employing children. And so now we're shocked when people are employing children, even though, by the way, rates of slavery are higher than they've ever been. But we right now accept the way that we produce animal products and we eat them. We have milk in our coffee every day. We never think of where it comes from, because we have no other choice, because it's legal, because this is it. But my proposition is that if these technologies do advance, and if they do, they will have the capability to feed many more people, because you're not limited by space and resources in the same way that we are with animals. We will be looking back at this time and we will look at the way that we have these animal factory farms as one of the great horrors perpetrated by humanity.